I have a couple of questions today. The first one is, which of Elon's companies will have the highest valuation at the end of 2026? I have knowledge today that Alexander Potter and Dan Ives undid some of the damage caused by Morgan Stanley yesterday, and Tesla stock rebounded. And finally, to help us understand more about these issues and what the Fed will do tomorrow based on his, well, we don't know. You might have changed your mind. Nicholas Gibbs is here, who had he had a prediction with regard to the Fed last week. We'll see if is that still the same. Well, no, let's wait. Let's set it up. Okay, we'll come back to that. Alexander Potter highlighted data from Austin. The what do you call it? The tracker data.
Mhm.
He says that right now it looks like the cars are averaging 40,000 miles between crashes. And then NISTA's reported incidents were kind of, in the same ballpark. And so he says he thinks it's a done deal. And you say,
Put a fork in it.
forget it.
It's done.
It's done. Uh,
Yeah. I've been saying I think there's two ways to look at it. I think from a robotaxi perspective, it's done. From a full FSD version for a individual, it's almost done.
okay.
So what I mean by that is like it still has these like little quirks. Quirks, wrong word. It's just like these little like um just a little smoothing it needs. For example, it still won't really. Here's the best example I have. I was going to a restaurant the other day. It got me there completely perfectly, pulled into a street parking lot. The only problem was that parking is street parking, right? So it pulled into it perfectly, end to end, perfect drive, except that spot is clearly written there that it's for only people that are patroning at that restaurant. I wasn't going to that restaurant. I was going to the restaurant next door. So little things like that, handicap spots. It's not pulling the garage yet. So that's why I say for the individual,
Mhm, mhm.
it's it's almost there. But robotaxi doesn't care about parking spots. A robotaxi doesn't care about garages. It doesn't care about any of that stuff. So I think from a robotaxi perspective, put a fork in it for the individual. Like if you want to be nitpicky and you want to say, well, it's either done or it's almost done, right? Like just to be completely objective on what other people would say, the naysayers, you're right. Maybe for the individual, it's just about there. But a robotaxi, it's done. It can do everything you need to.
Did you get the Christmas update before you left town?
I have not.
Oh, okay. So I think I was thinking that the Grok being available to do some integration with the vehicle itself, some control of the vehicle itself would help with a lot of those little minor issues.
Wait, did you get it?
No, I'm on.
Oh, okay.
I don't know when I'll get it. No, I should get a Christmas update, even though I'm on version 12.6.
I mean, you've been naughty or nice.
No, I don't have it. All right. So then,
No response, everybody. Sounds like Randy's been naughty.
naughty again. And then Elon, well, so then Dan Ives came out. He reconfirmed all the stuff he always says, but he was even more exuberant and said that there's a bunch of folks now that are saying the AI thing is a two-horse race between Google and Tesla. Hearing that more and more, even headlines now.
Um, I I don't know if I agree with that, but I don't disagree with it either. I think it's definitely they're both in the running. The problem is there's lots of different domains that I don't think it's that clean. But yeah, I would say if I had to put money on it, those would be the two companies I'd put money on.
Okay, all right. And then Elon came out tonight and he said that autonomy is pretty much solved at this point and that the Austin rollout, the Austin removal of the safety rider should come by the end of the month, 3 weeks, he said, roughly.
I hope also talks about the expansion because we're supposed to be in what, 8 cities by the end of the year. So
That too, yeah. What about those 8 cities, Elon? By the way,
yeah.
I was meaning to check after he said that whether the stock popped in the after hours, and I didn't get around to doing. Oh yeah, yeah. No, no, that's during the day. I'm sorry. Yeah,
You
yeah.
got so excited.
A little bit in the after hours. Not a pop. Not a, he didn't have a big impact because people are maybe kind of used
It
to his estimates.
it takes a second. No, it takes a second.
Yeah,
Like even yesterday, the Nvidia news came out. They could sell,
yeah,
well, that with 25% tariffs or all that, they could sell in China, and it didn't even move until after hours. And
yeah.
it came, the news came out like at 2 p.m.
Right.
and after hours it hits 190, and then today apparently it sold off what, 58 cents. So it's kind of funny, but I think these things take a little bit.
Yeah, sometimes it seems like it almost seems like the market knew ahead of time.
Yeah,
It's
I would say honestly, I would say Nvidia. I mean, again, I don't know, guys. I don't know anything. This is all just prognostication. I always have this philosophy: none of us know anything when
right.
it comes to stuff, but I still like to have an opinion or make a guess. I would guess that after tomorrow, you're gonna see after the Fed meeting tomorrow, you're gonna see Nvidia and Tesla, all those go back on their run.
Okay.
But right now, you kind of have the potential of something that people don't like. There's always risk there,
Yeah, yeah.
holding things back. Like everyone's like gunning to go, but they're just waiting for the gun to go off, or in this case, for the meeting to end.
All right, and we're still going to tease that. We're not going to talk about that quite
Yeah.
yet. So, in
Mm,
addition to all of
Randy,
that,
just real quick,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
real quick, I'd like to tease everybody. Um, I, as everyone should know, yesterday was the cutoff date to sign up for my options course. I'm actually not calling it a course anymore because I don't like the way that sounds. It's a workshop. Like I've said many times, I'm not here to tell you how to trade or what to trade or to give you trades. The idea is to take people who don't know much about anything on options to even people who know options and kind of show them the bigger picture of how the whole notion of options, how they work, how to use them, how to decide when to put them on, when not to put them on, how volatility works, theta decay. It's all these things around it, covered calls, how to actually do all these correctly. And the idea is to teach a man how to fish.
Right,
I don't want people to be coming back to me like a subscription service. The
right.
idea is you come, you learn,
And you
you
go.
go do your own thing. You get your own foundation, and then you iterate and you find your own way. So it's education. So I'm just calling it a workshop now. But anyways, yesterday was the cutoff date for December. Um, I had to essentially stop a lot of people from signing up because there's an overwhelming amount of response. And a lot of people have been requesting for me to do one more in January. So, due to all the requests, and again, like it's humbling, um, I have decided I will do one more in January. Keep an eye out. I will make an announcement. I'll put out a link for people to sign up. But I just want to, for everyone, because a lot of them do follow you, Randy. Lots of kind words come in for people saying that they watch you. Um, some bad. No, I'm kidding. But no, lots of kind words, and just want to let everybody know I heard you, and I'm going to do another one in January. So it's coming. I'll let you know. Keep an eye out for it.
All right. So you just said what you think is going to happen with Tesla stock the rest of this week. So now people can place their options bets based on your kind words. Anyway, did you see
Yeah, the
anything
guy
else?
that said we don't know anything.
Did you see any? Well, now, by the way, is that a technical analysis? Is that a fundamental analysis? Is that an analysis based? It sounded like you were looking at the macro more than anything else.
You talking about for what I think's to happen this week, or the I don't know anything, or we don't know
No,
anything?
the rest, yeah, yeah, yeah. You don't know anything. No, the rest of the year, is it fundamental? Is it, I think you were saying that it was the macro was good. Do you look at and the fundamentals would be good because we're
Yeah.
talking about obviously the potential for the Austin thing to be complete. But then what about the technicals? Are you seeing any, are we building a good technical situation?
Yeah. So, all right. So those are good questions. And let me like loop in the we don't know anything. Like I really do mean that. That's not just me saying something in jest. The truth is, I could tell you what's going to happen tomorrow with the Fed, and I guarantee you still wouldn't know what trade took place
Mhm.
because markets are rational and irrational all at the same
Right,
time.
right.
So, like that's it's just really hard to understand what's going to happen with any given short term noise. Um, But with that said, why do I have an opinion that things are going to go well? And again, I'll continue to tease about Randy, you don't even know this, but I have a new opinion about what's going to happen tomorrow. So
Oh,
I'll
okay.
tease you as well, maybe to get that on the, shift left on us talking about that sooner. But right now we have a lot of very strong momentum for Tesla. It's actually one of the strongest setups that I think I have seen in several years.
Wow.
Um, yeah, and again, it's not like I'm not really like a technical guy or anything like that, but when you know what technical analysis looks like and what people look for, like it looks very, very strong right now. Um, so, I stick with what I've been saying. I think all-time highs by the end of the year,
Mhm.
probably 500. So yeah, the setup just looks really, really strong. Now, everything can always
Great.
ruin that. A something from the transportation secretary against
Right.
autonomy, or some devastating accident, or something happens to Elon. Like, I mean, you never know what could happen, right? Like anything out of left field could always happen. But if things continue to go the way they are, it's almost, I just don't see how we do not hit all time highs. I mean, when you look at the stock, we all look at it on a day to day basis, right? Even the people who like try to say, "Oh yeah, just buy and hold, set it and forget it." Yeah, BS. You're all looking at it. I know you. I know you are. I think everybody kind of feel like it wants to go.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? Like it's like this energy. I'm gonna sound so
Right,
lame
right.
here, but there's this energy that you can almost sense that it's trying, like it wants to go. And it's just like a damn ready to break. Like, just give me a reason. Just give me one reason. Like, do you feel that? Do you get what I'm saying? Is that
Yeah, I think I get that too. I think I'm a fundamentalist at heart. I really like to see the fundamentals of the company and the economy. That's where I start.
well? I
And
hear you,
right now, I
but
feel like the fundamentals of the company and the fundamentals of the country are amazing. Like it's just going to be crazy times going into 2026.
I hear you, but it's you just fundamentals are important, but they're just a slice of the
Oh yeah.
pie,
Oh yeah.
because you can't just look at the fundamentals and justify the current stock price. You can't. You'd have to project out,
Yeah.
right? Which would not be the fundamentals. The fundamentals would be about what's there right now.
I count,
You
but I
know,
count, but I count in the fundamentals the what do you want to call
your
it?
your prognostication.
Well, no. I think the narrative. So if I don't, if I'm going to buy, if Figure AI was available as a public company right now, they would have nothing. They would have, well, in fact, we can talk about OpenAI. They have some revenues, but they're going to lose money until 2029, according to them. And yet people are putting this high valuation on them. If they came out tomorrow, it would probably, with an IPO, it'd probably be a half a trillion or maybe more.
Yeah, but fundamentals have like a very specific
Definition.
meaning,
Oh, I see.
right? It's literally talking about,
Oh,
key financial qualitative factors like earning, debt, management, so
I have
it's
the
measurable
Randy
data.
definition. I have the Randy definition.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but I am with you, right? I agree with you. But so I think the fundamentals are important, and I think Tesla has as clean of fundamentals as you get. But it's not just that; it's the
Right,
fundamentals. It's the narrative, like you're saying.
right.
It's the people who are there. What do we see with our own eyes? And I've been saying this for a while. In general, I don't think most people have edge in the markets unless you're probably doing something or know something you shouldn't, or
Yeah.
you know about it and you're trading on it and you probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
But I think Tesla is one of those very rare examples where if you have a Tesla and if you've been driving FSD and you understand the narrative, I think you have asymmetric information. And that asymmetric information leads to alpha and potential outperformance. And I
Right.
know we've all been saying that for years now, but I genuinely feel like we are right at that precipice of all these roads converging and colliding. We're all at the right place at the right time. So I genuinely feel like we have asymmetric information and therefore asymmetric upside. So that's just my opinion, but I hear you. I'm with you.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to stop teasing and actually bring up the subject. And I was going to bring it up completely differently, but now that you've told me you've changed your mind about
No, 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 no.
you've
Don't say I
changed your
changed my mind.
you've changed your story. You've changed the
I,
something about your story.
I haven't told you what my story was.
Well, okay. So yesterday,
All
last
you
week,
know is my correct prediction for what would happen last time, and it played out exactly as I said.
and
I haven't
last
given my prediction for
no,
this.
last week you said the Fed was cutting. Actually, 2 weeks ago you said the Fed is
Oh
cutting.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, yeah, yeah, they're cutting for sure.
Okay.
But
And what's
I
the rest
have
of the story?
I have detail around that.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So do you wanna lead
Yes.
into it
Yeah.
first? Or
No,
go
that's
for it.
it. No, go for it.
Oh, that's it. Okay. All right. So you guys are gonna think I'm nuts. Let's just recap a little bit. Before the last meeting, I came on here and I told Randy we're gonna have a rate cut.
Mhm.
That didn't take a genius, right? You can look at the 10-year, you could have predicted that. You could look at Cal Street Poly Market, you could predict that easy. What was different about what I was saying was that they were going to come out and be very hawkish. Nobody was thinking that. And that ended up being exactly what happened. And that's why the stock market sold off, amongst other things, right? There's a lot of things that actually happened. Government shutdown, right? There's so much. Um, and that's where, I've been not so humbly bragging, but it's also just fun for the show and to
Right.
tell
Right.
Randy I was
Yeah.
right again, right? So it's just for fun. But that's where I was right last time. This time, once again, Randy, you're right. When everybody was saying, when the odds were 40, 30% as of like 2 weeks ago saying that we weren't going to cut, I was on here saying, no, we're going to cut.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that, okay, I'll give myself kudos for that as well. But now everybody knows we're cutting. That's news. And now you even hear people starting to say that there's going to be a hawkish cut, right? That's been
That's
the phrase of the last 24 hours.
yes, it had more than 24, but yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
Actually, I started talking about that a week ago after, and maybe even when you and I were talking, but maybe shortly after, I'm like, no, Powell's going to have to take a pound of flesh with him, and he's going to have to speak for the dissenters. So it'll be a hawk. But anyway, that's yes, I agree.
Okay.
That is the story right now. Yes.
So I'm going to make an analogy for you.
Okay.
When we had Liberation Day
Hmm.
and Trump pulled out that big poster
Right.
board with all the tariffs they were going to impose, the market had a meltdown, like
Yeah.
a historic proportion meltdown.
Right. Right.
Then the market recovered as like language became softened and things started to change, and you know all that started to happen. And then we saw another reaction of Trump saying that we're going to raise more rates on China and all this stuff. And the markets sold off again, but not as much.
Mhm.
And that became known as the taco trade,
Right.
right? To fade anytime Trump says something about tariffs, because, like, yeah, okay, it's just negotiation and we're going to come right back.
Right.
And that became a trade that worked for a while. I believe that tomorrow we will have a hawkish Fed, but I believe that the market is going to fade the Fed, saying you got us last time. You're not going to do it again. We're anticipating what you're going to do. We're going to taco trade the Fed. You can come out hawkish, go for it. We're going to ignore it. We're going up.
So this then would be you
You
playing.
like that, don't you?
This would be you playing 4D chess. This would be you like it's like right now, I don't know if you know this or not, but Grok just wiped everybody, all the other LLMs out in terms of being a trading instrument. and made
Mm.
20% or something in a week. And it was like, it wasn't even close with the rest of them. But the thing about that is that if all the LLMs start to trade, then you're going to have to anticipate the trade that the LLMs are going to make in order. So anyway, but this
Yeah,
is kind
it
of
all
that, yeah,
becomes level
yeah,
playing field again.
right,
That's why the
right,
algorithms really don't have an edge, because at
right,
the end of the
right,
day, if it's all algorithms,
right.
and we're all back to equilibrium.
Yeah. So anyway, but I like it. Yeah, that was good. Yeah. I
So,
think
so that's my take.
you're probably all out there all by yourself with that one. So you not only
Yeah.
would you be right about the cut and right about the hawkish stance, then you'd be right about the market saying, okay, we'll take the cut and we're not buying your garbage anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I can make it stronger or give you maybe a little bit about my rationale. You know, everyone knows it's going to be Kevin Hassett now,
Yeah.
and that's what the market's really going to care about.
Right.
They're not going to care about what the Fed's going to do moving forward here. They're just going to care about Kevin Hassett. And so, even if the Fed does decide to not cut anymore, or to pause or whatever, the market, I think, is not going to care because they know what's coming. So
Right.
it's irrelevant. It essentially neutralizes Powell completely. So,
Right.
so that's kind of my take. But I, I do think that this is how this will play out, and I do think that the market will fade. And I think that this time next week, you're gonna have everybody being like, "Oh, it was so obvious. They did this to us last time. Like we knew the playbook." And everyone's gonna say things are so obvious when right now it's like, nah, I haven't heard anyone say something like that. So
All right. Well, we will watch. Believe me, we will all be watching tomorrow anyway. But that'll give us one more thing to zero in on for tomorrow. All right. So Elon Musk's has decided, or no, we don't know this. It's only a rumor. It's only headlines everywhere that SpaceX is currently valued at about 800 billion. I've heard some rumors that they've had an outside company come in to do that valuation because they needed to buy up shares from some of the employees. And so the valuation is in the ballpark of 800 billion. And but then the bigger news, oh, and now people thought there was going to be some kind of a sale of shares as opposed to buying shares that was going to be associated with this 800 billion price point. Now the bigger news today is that SpaceX is going to IPO end of next year, maybe into 2027, at a 1.5 trillion dollar valuation. And you think?
I think where there's smoke, there tends to be fire, and I think there's something here. I think it happens. I don't know if that date's right. I don't know if that valuation's correct. Um, we'll see, but it seems like that's happening. I mean, there's just too much around it at this point, and that's not. I don't know. It doesn't seem like something. It's too specific
Yeah, right.
for it to be like just a rumor. And this goes back to I was actually having a dinner with someone who uses Rebellion Air,
Mm,
and he was asking me. I think it was who I was talking to. Anyways, I'm not so sure. I was talking to someone recently. I think it was him, but they were asking me if I think that Tesla or Elon was going to be selling his shares or not, and I was like, I don't think so. Like I hear what they're saying, I just don't think that's what's going to happen. Also, I forget, but I recall that when I was reading his comp package before we voted on it, I could swear that I recall there being a section there talking about how Elon could sell and that it wouldn't be over in the open market again, but in a more appropriate, predefined blocks with, like with buyers ready lined up. That way we don't rock the market. But SpaceX IPOing is a nice way to fund any tax bills he has. Because at the end of the day, Elon's not worried about retaining ownership of SpaceX because he still owns so much of it. It's Tesla he wants to. So the last thing he wants to do is sell more Tesla to pay off his tax bill when all he's trying to do is gain more ownership of Tesla. Tesla's the real risk for him, not SpaceX. So I that to me is like another reason why you would go public. And I mean, that's the selfish reason for Elon to go
Yeah,
public.
yeah,
But then obviously, you want to do right by all your people.
sure.
At some point, you want to let them really get paid.
So
So yeah,
this will be the largest IPO ever. It would be bigger than Saudi Aramco, and it's pretty wild. Now, though, let's blend it back into our conversation last week, and I think we got to give Larry Goldberg a lot of credit for kind of being at the forefront of this. Larry thinks that that between now and that IPO probably, but maybe not, maybe after. I don't know how. That's why I'm kind of asking you, if you were in charge, what would be the order that this should take place in? Should the stock swaps between Tesla and SpaceX be prior to the IPO? What about with XAI? Should they be prior to the IPO? Is there the potential that Tesla will also have another big raise because they've got massive amounts of money that needs to go into these the chip fabs? Anyway, what are you seeing now? This seems like a lot of 4D chess that you'd be interested in thinking about.
yeah, I'm gonna have a boring answer for you. I don't
Okay.
think any of it happens.
Oh, wow.
Um,
Okay.
I don't think there's any stock swap with SpaceX. I mean, I would love for there to be, but I don't think there will be. And I don't think the investment to X happens anytime soon. Personally, I've talked about this.
You
Like,
said you're not that interested. Yeah, you said.
I'm just not that interested in it. I'm really not. Um, you know, take $1 billion, invest into it, sure. Maybe do 5 billion, go for it. But I see XAI more um as a money sucker,
Okay.
just burning cash, and I think it's gonna be like that for a long time. And I don't know. SpaceX would be different. Like, I would love for Tesla to own a piece of SpaceX, but at the same time, it's not necessary if they're going public.
Oh, I
You
see.
know,
Yeah.
so my question is: do you sell Tesla to buy SpaceX?
Oh. If they can wait long.
Do you sell some Tesla to buy
By
SpaceX?
SpaceX. Let's put it this way. I know that if SpaceX has an IPO, I'm going to want a piece of it. So whether I have to sell my house or sell some Tesla shares. I got some Rockwell lithographs up on the wall. Are you interested? These signed lithographs. Would you like to buy those from me so I can get a nice
I can't.
investment?
I got some SpaceX to buy. So
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah. All right. So this is all
Well,
very,
real
yeah,
quick
yeah, yeah.
though. Do you think if SpaceX goes public, do you think we see a sell off in Tesla?
You still want the answer to that?
Yeah, like, do you think we see a little bit of a sell off? Because I imagine
Oh,
a lot
sure.
of Tesla investors
Heck
are
yeah.
going to sell to buy some SpaceX.
Yeah, you could see. I think you could see a sell-off. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's probably true. Yeah, let's.
especially if we're at all time highs. If we're at 500, 550, $600 a share.
That's why
Man,
yeah. See, my deal is I think that SpaceX and Tesla should do a stock swap, and then that's not an issue. And they become sister companies. And anyway, we'll see. Who knows?
but it would still be an issue because you still wouldn't get the same returns as you would if you
Oh, I see.
own
If you
direct
SpaceX
SpaceX.
directly. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Just when you thought that the AI conversation couldn't get any more ramped up, you have Nobel laureate and Google DeepMind CEO Demis Hassabis saying that AI changes in 2026, not 5 years from now, not 3 years from now, in 2026 in a way that will rock everyone's world. And you're in that world. What are you hearing?
Um, I'm hearing lots of opinions. I'll tell you, and it aligns with what I think. So obviously, I understand that's the bias here. But the most, I think, realistic, cogent opinion I've heard about how AI plays out has not been what Elon says. It's not what anyone from Google said. It's not anyone from Anthropic or OpenAI or any of those companies.
I know. It's in the book. Has the most, that's what you were going to say, right?
Well, e- eventually, but the opinion that I aligned the most with was Jensen, the CEO of NVIDIA, who was on Joe Rogan recently.
Yeah, yeah.
And he said what I've kind of been saying for a long time. I think it's just kind of a slow drip. I think it's a lot like FSD was. It's not like boom, FSD was there. We went from 9 to 9.2 to 10, 10.3, 10.6, 10.7 to 11 to 11.3 to 12 to 13. Now we're at 14, right? It's a slow drip that it just gets better and better and better. It's not like just 1 year, boom, everything happens. Like, oh,
Right.
I don't think that's how any of this happens, whether it's LLMs, agents, autonomy, humanoids, any of it. I don't think any of it has this like
Yeah.
apex of a moment.
Yeah.
I just think everything just continues to get better and better and better. And before you know it, look, ChatGPT, when I came onto the scene and it blew everyone's mind away. Well, first of all, it was already out for 4 months before everybody figured out about it. And even then, after everyone's mind was blown away by it, people didn't really know where this was going to go, right? Now here we are, almost 4 years later. Actually, 4 years to the almost to the day, really. Um, and oh no, excuse me, 3 years to the day.
Yeah, 3 years. Yeah.
And here we are, and I don't know anybody who doesn't use some type of LLM on a day-to-day basis. And we've got how many companies now with LLMs? Back then it was just one, right? So it's been a slow drip. It's not like it just happened in 2022 or just happened in 2023 or 24, and meanwhile, we've been this whole time, everyone's been talking about AI bubble and where's the ROI, and everyone's like, asking these questions. So I don't think we have this magic moment where boom, we have super intelligence, or it's just this undeniable winner that has this segment, or this is immediate waterfall of profits and ROI that's blowing our minds. I don't think it happens like that. I know we all want it to happen like that, and that's like what Wall Street and everybody paying, when you hear Kathy Woods talking about her stuff, when you hear Elon talking about his stuff, and look, these are visionaries and they're saying a lot of good things, and their long-term predictions, I think, will be correct.
Mm-hmm.
But where I think Jensen is maybe a little more sober and realistic is that technology doesn't really work that way. Even the internet didn't work that way. It was just kind of a slow drip. It was just a progress. And it's, what it is? It's compound interest. That's what it is. And I think that's how it's going to play out. So no, I don't buy into this 2026 thing. I think we're going to see a lot of improvement with LLMs. Agents will be more capable. I think you're going to start to see autonomy proliferate more. But 2026 will look like a joke compared to 2027. And 2027 will look so tiny compared to what happens in 2030. It's just compound interest. And so that's how I see it. I think if everyone's like thinking about like there's this one moment that I have to get ahead of, it's not that, in my opinion. So Jensen is who I think has said it in a way that aligns with my opinion. He could be wrong. I might be wrong. I'm not saying that I'm right, or I don't know. You're asking me, so that's
right.
what I think.
That's right. That's what. Yeah. Yes. That's why I have you on the show. We wouldn't have you on the show if we didn't value your position. All right. So I'm going to talk about LLMs. I'm going to talk about Grok. Grok and I had a very long conversation last night, and so now
Yeah.
you and I are going to take an extremely hard, unprotected left turn. Because this is going to sound very weird for
Oh.
what we do on this show normally.
So you guys know I have no idea what he's about to say.
Yeah, I
I
know.
have no idea.
I know. So I was
All
just hoping,
right.
I was hoping we'd have time to do this. So
Oh gosh.
I have a very, very long setup for this one. So you just have to bear with me. And I'm
Okay.
going to
Okay.
compliment you right off the get. So I'm going to say,
Yeah. Lube me up.
I'm saying you have built your life to this date in a very, very wise way. You are part of, but you're part of a cadre of very mad people, of super mad people. Your age group and younger are really mad at my age group for hogging all the wealth. So I thought you would be a perfect foil for this conversation I had with Grok. You see, it seems like, according to Grok and me, actually, I agree with him, the Gen Zs and the millennials, but even more so, I think the Gen Zs are mostly having a problem with luxury living. It has nothing to do with what the old people are or aren't doing. And the luxuries are huge college debt from actually getting 50% more education, maybe even more than that, and from more expensive schools. And there are still cheaper alternatives that those folks could have gone to, or they could have worked in their summers and worked in while they're going to school, et cetera. All the things I'm sure you know about. Number two, they're using close to 100% more space per person in residential units, whether it's rented or purchased. So that's a luxury. Bigger and way more luxurious cars, eating out at least 5 times as often as people did even 40 years ago or 30 years ago, and maybe more than 5 times as much. And then finally, a big luxury is putting off adulthood, but not using that time that they're putting off adulthood in order to save and invest so that they can get into the housing market, whatever the price of the houses are. So youth, and now I'm going to turn it over to you. What do you think about all that?
Yeah. So, all right, let me start off with this. You clumped me into a group there. I I'm not mad at you or your generation for
Not you. I didn't say
hoarding wealth.
you were. I said there's a people of your age that are, yes.
Yeah. I don't see you all as hoarding wealth. And I do agree with you. There is this narrative out there that a lot of younger people are pissed off at the older generation for hoarding wealth. But one, I think that's kind of made up by the media.
Oh,
I think I don't think it's really that true. Honestly, I don't think Gen Zers think too much about your generation at all. I don't think I like how would they get the wealth from that generation? Like how would that even get passed down? How would it like that whole notion doesn't make sense to me. Like if I think deeper about it, or if anyone thinks deeper about it, okay, well then what's the conduit to move money from that generation to a lower generation? Like what would it be? What's the means of exchange there? Like
yeah. I
it
mean,
doesn't make sense to me.
one of the things that they're saying is that they want us to give up part of our Social Security, that we're getting too much Social Security.
Okay, again, I've never heard that before. That sounds like some media stuff to me. I don't think Gen Zers are thinking about Social
Not
Security
that
at
way.
all. Well, I think only people in the media and only people who are gaining Social Security are even thinking about that. Gen Zers aren't, in my opinion. But here's where I do agree with you. They are. I'm not saying it's right, but I think it's understandable to. I think it's understandable to get to a certain point where you look at the current environment and you say, it's damn near impossible for me to get a job. It's hard out there. It's really difficult to buy a house. And if you did, it kind of doesn't make sense at this point because it's more financially makes more sense on paper to rent than to buy. Um, Everything's gone up in prices. Inflation is still around, and in reality, we're still dealing with the previous inflation because incomes haven't really caught up to that. And it's like, yo, we got dealt a pretty crappy hand. And I can also understand the dismay at the system where imagine you're a Gen Zer who's just graduating college, struggling to find a job because the job market's not that great. And you're like, what the hell? I did everything I was told to do. I was told, study hard in high school, go to college. If you go to college, you'll get a job. You're doing all the right things. And who told them to do that? Their parents. And who told their parents to do that? Your generation, right? So it's this same playbook that's been passed down over and over without anyone breaking the cycle or anyone starting to stopping to say, hey, have things changed? Should we pivot? Like, should we iterate? And again, I think you can also understand them being upset, whether even my generation, millennials and Gen Zers being upset with a system that allows people, younger people, to do stupid things. There's not like any guardrails. For example, and I honestly I do think this part is a little unethical. You should not have government backed student loans.
No.
That's a problem. And that was not created or allowed based on the millennials or Gen Z generation. But it's this little ditch over here that these wiser older generations have allowed the younger generation to walk into. And that's pretty messed up. And on top of that, you throw all this, there's all this debt, there's this constant threat of you're not even gonna have Social Security when you get to our age, right? And it's like, dude, they didn't do anything. They didn't do anything wrong. You guys let us fall into that ditch. You guys spent up our debts and deficits. And here we are sitting there like we can't get a job. We thought we did all the right things. You told us what to do, and we trusted you to do the right things. You can understand all of that. I think you can. I think that makes a lot of sense. So I can empathize with that. But, I think we talk about this a lot. There's a certain point where it's like, hey, that can all be true. But you got to play the cards you're dealt. And at some point, you got to make the most out of it. And so I do think that there is a sense of accountability. I do think there's a certain point where people have to pivot. People have to stop going out all the time, start saving, move, be in a city that maybe they don't want to be, go take that extra job maybe they don't want to do, maybe move back in with their parents to save up to be able to go do something. Like, you got to get creative. You got to start doing things that isn't part of the dogma or what everyone else is doing. And this, like, one of the best lines I've ever heard was from Robert Kiyosaki in his book Rich Dad Poor Dad. And one of the lines he says in there, the poor stay poor because they learn about money from the poor, meaning they're poor parents. And I'm not saying their parents are poor, but they're not wealthy. They don't understand how assets work. They consider their house an asset rather than liability. They don't understand how equities work. They don't understand, the balanced portfolio. They think about, they don't think about setting money aside and putting the majority up front as soon as they can into the market so it can compound. But the rich are different. The rich understand that. They understand, hey, you want to make as much as you can and put as much in assets as fast as you can so you can be taxed at a capital gains rate rather than on income. You don't want income, actually. You want to show as little income as you can. You want capital gains, right? But if you come up with a family that doesn't know that, doesn't learn about that, doesn't teach you that, then all you know is what they teach you in school. And guess what? The people who are teachers there, again, they're theorizers. Or what did they say about people who can't teach?
Right.
Same thing. So again, the poor stay poor. And again, poor is just a hyperbolic word, but the poor stay poor because they learn about money from the poor, or they learn it from the teachers who are poor, or from the education system, which again, those people tend to be poor. And they tend to just think about, hey, retirement is 60 something years old, right? That's the biggest crime in this country, is that people talk about retirement as an age. No, it's not. Retirement is a certain net worth. It's a certain amount of money that you can live off of in perpetuity. That is freedom. And so, again, if you don't have someone to guide you, I don't know what you're going to do. But I think we live also in a different world where I mentioned before, the tides have shifted. You've got YouTube out there. You don't have to rely on hoping that someone gives you the right book at the right time. If you got a question, you can go on YouTube, you can learn. And sometimes the best thing that can happen to people here, I'll finish with this. The worst thing that can happen to someone, besides everything I just said, especially for the younger generation where they get dealt this crappy hand and they don't have anyone to tell them right or wrong, But the worst thing that can happen to someone, you can argue, was what happened with what is it, the lost generation? What was that generation called? What is
But
it? What's
you talk about
it's
my mom's age, the born in 26 or later,
no,
1926 or later. Oh, the
what was
lost
the generation below you?
X gen.
X. Okay, Gen X. The worst thing that can happen is to be to what happened to Gen X, where you live a life where you have that 9 to 5. Okay, you're comfortable enough. You're not exactly happy. You don't exactly love what you do, but you make enough not to complain too much. You're not miserable enough to make a real change, but not that happy. You don't love it. And you're just stuck in this kind of like, it doesn't suck that much, but it's really not great either. And I think in many ways, it's kind of a blessing for a lot of this young generation where they're getting to a point early in their lives where like, this sucks. I don't like this. My back's against the wall.
Need to
And
change.
that forces change. That is an incubator for change. And so while I think there's a shitty hand, sorry, a bad hand dealt here for them, I do think that out of that, a lot of good can come. And it's better than being in a stagnant place. That back against the wall forces people to go out and learn, find something else, whether it's entrepreneurship, whether it's go on YouTube and just understand like, what do I do? How do I invest? How can I make more money? How can I not have a 9 to 5 job? Or how can I start a website, a podcast? How can I go and build a website? How can I learn to code? How can I vibe code with Claude or Grok or whatever? Like, what new skill sets can I do? Can I go on Upwork and be hire someone or to do something like? I think when you're faced with adversity, a lot of beauty comes out of that. So I don't know if I answer your question, but that's kind of how I look at it.
Well, no, I think it was great because I mean, basically, I think I agree with you. I think that there are people, whether it's the press or whether it's people that are trying to get power, that are responsible, at least partially, for taking advantage of a little bit of irritation out there and turning it into a war of the generations, as
Yeah,
opposed to just a little bit of irritation. And now it's not that we haven't always had wars between the generations, because there certainly has been. I think every employer of every generation thinks that the next age group is the worst employees they've ever seen. But, so that's kind of normal. But this sounds more like, as you point out, something is being ginned up. And I love your idea that the fact that they have a little bit of a well, what was the greatest generation? The greatest generation is the
yeah.
one that
World
fought
War
the
II, right?
World War. Yeah, so they were definitely faced with adversity and had to find a way to overcome. All right,
Well,
well,
and also, right, the Roaring Twenties came out of what? World
yeah,
War One, right?
yeah,
Post that,
and not
and
just
like you
World War
said,
One, and not just World War One, the Black Plague.
yeah,
It was a massive,
yeah,
like a third of the people in the world. I don't know what was, maybe it was a sixth. Huge number of people died in a very short period of time, either from the war or from the plague. So
yeah.
it
Yeah,
was
so just I doubt there's a lot of people in that age range that are watching, but even if
right.
there's one, I would just say like, especially if you're watching a channel like this, like keep doing what you're doing. You're doing the right things. Your curiosity is in the right direction, and just always remember, when times get hard,
Yeah,
everyone gets hard times, everybody. But just remember, like eventually the sun comes back up,
right.
right? Life is very cyclical, and so when you're going through it, just one step at a time. Just keep progressing forward because the sun will come. I promise you that. I know I'm much younger than you, Randy. Much younger, like way younger than you. But if there's one thing that I have, already seen or learned in my life is that the bad times come, but they don't last.
Right, right, right. So you mentioned about my age group that's watching the program, and I think it's, pretty much 55 to 75, pretty much men that watch this channel. But you know what? A lot of those people have children and grandchildren,
Yeah.
and they're probably faced with the questions about what's going on in the heads of their children and grandchildren. and why they're kind of angry or why they're doing what they're doing. So I think that this was a great conversation in terms of giving people both the empathy to maybe better understand why people are feeling the way they're feeling, and yet at the same time, the practical advice and practical understanding that there's a brighter day coming, and maybe it'll be because of the adversity.
And you know what, Randy? For you're right. For anyone who watches the channel and they do have kids or grandchildren or nieces or nephews that are of that young generation, if you're close enough with them, I think it'd be really interesting and like let us get humbled maybe a little bit, share with them, fast forward to where we start talking about all this, have them watch it and tell us what their reaction is. Ask them like, what are we not getting right? I think it'd be extremely interesting. And
Yeah.
then
Yeah,
maybe you could, you guys could comment on X and tag us into it. I would love to, like,
right.
genuinely open minded, completely humble. I would love to know their unfiltered response. Like, I don't, I find it hard to believe that everything we said that they would disagree with, but like, tell us where you think we're wrong and why we're wrong. And, I don't know. I think that'd be really healthy and very mind opening for us. And yeah, I think
Yeah.
it'd be interesting.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's take a look real quick at where we are in the numbers. So as mentioned, we had Tesla up 1.27% today in a very flat market and barely up just 0.01% in the pre-market. So
Really, I have it down
you have it down. Well, yeah,
11
see,
cents.
you were just ahead of me. Mine just
Um,
flipped to down
16 cents.
0.01. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So
I'm closer to New York City. That's why.
that's what it is. That must be the case. All right. And so going into tonight, though, what we've got is, of course, the bonds are always top of my mind. We are, I know, I had to admit this to Larry last night. Now I got to admit it to you. I was wrong. We are
Yeah,
above,
we're
we are
it's
above,
four.
we are above 4.15. And then today it looked like we might get back down under 4.15 so that I can say, look, it was just a 1 day deal. But
I thought we were gonna have a three handle, Randy. I thought we were at the three handle.
well, that's going to happen, but it's just not yet. We,
You had it for like 3 days.
I know we did. We did. Yeah. Oil is 58.37. A lot of conversation about that in the news today. It would appear that we're right at that what do you want to call it, that edge of where some of the shale people might have to shut down. So what do you think?
Well, yeah, it's. I talked to you about this a few times,
Yeah.
but you're not going to see net new wells really drilled. What you're going to see old wells be recycled or not, well, reworked is the way to think about it. And so with oil where it's at right now, I believe, did OPEC say that they were going to cut? I thought I saw
No,
something like
no.
this.
Well, not unless it was today. I didn't see. OPEC said, no, we think that the U.S. economy is going to be so strong next year that we're going to produce because we think we're going to need it.
Mm, okay, that's interesting. Well, I don't disagree with that personally, but
Right.
uh, that's interesting. Okay, yeah. So I remember that's war, right? That's
Yes.
so it's it's a problem for us more so than it is for them. But
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, the
they
math
get
is the
out of the
math. It
ground.
has to be profitable, and
They
you
get
don't.
it. Yeah.
I think if you look at the rig counts that are coming online, you don't see a lot of new ones coming online.
Yep. Yep. Okay. Natural gas also was huge in the news today. What a flip. It was going up so fast that I'm like, what in the world's going to happen to home heating? And then the triple vortex apparently wasn't as strong as people thought. Europe is having a mild summer, I mean, mild winter. And so now you got natural gas all the way back down to 458. It was down big today, like 7% 2 days in a row or something. So natural gas, if you really want to play something volatile, it's not Tesla. Play natural gas. Gold, 42.36. Okay, what's going to happen here? Come on now. What's going to happen with gold? We're looking like, 440 is this, which I said months ago is the limit on gold. Many people are thinking that gold is done. There's evidence of previous historic things happening with gold where this would be the end and it would start going down. What do you think?
Um, well, question. I think it really just depends on how we're thinking about our debts and deficits, and if we think we're going to go into a recession or not. And so, part of me was thinking that gold would continue to climb as Kevin Hassett gets announced, and it seems like we're going to choose a path. Whether that path is right or wrong, we don't know. But the days of Powell being somewhat indecisive are going to be gone. And if the economy isn't booming next year, like many think it will be, then yeah, I can see gold climbing because we are probably gonna have a problem with just growth. But Bitcoin is not really roaring itself. Uh, Gold doesn't. It's becoming risk off is really or risk on is
Right.
what I'm saying. I mean, if I look at the fear and greed index, and there's several of these, but I tend to just look at the one on CNN. Literally, like I don't know, a week and a half ago, we were at extreme fear at 7,
Yeah.
and now we're only at fear, which is at 32, as I'm looking at here right now.
Mhm.
And that tells me that we're getting to more of a risk on climate.
Yep.
The other thing too, I don't know how if you've been seeing what's going on with the repo markets, but with the repo markets tightening up and then the Fed lowering the amount of capital that banks have on hand, that's going to create more liquidity
Mhm.
and free up the repo markets.
Mhm.
And that I think is going to stimulate a lot as well and allow more deal flow, more transactions. So I think we're setting up for a very bullish start to 2026. And believe it or not, if the Trump tariffs get nixed by the Supreme Court, I think that'll also have another boost to the stock market.
Hmm. I'm 100% in favor of what he's doing because it's strategic. I've been
I'm not
talking.
against it either, but I'm just telling you what I think will happen.
I see. Yeah, I'm hoping that Besson is right and that he has backups in play. And
Yeah.
I also think the Supreme Court may be the decision might be this is okay, but this isn't. And I think it's going to come down to a split decision, not in terms of the judges. It's going to come down to a split decision in terms of what is appropriate and what is not appropriate.
Yeah, honestly, I think the best argument I've heard was that explain how the president can have an embargo, but they can't place a tariff, which is
Right. Right.
milder than an embargo.
Yes. Yes. That's true.
Like that doesn't like I can't make that connect.
Right. Right. Yeah. The logic doesn't work.
So yeah, and I
Silver.
think that's the best argument.
Silver. Did you see what happened to silver today?
I
It's at
did not. I was
$61.21. I mean, I bought silver one time about 45 years ago. You know, I, it's like,
Randy.
it's the
I'm
number
not even
one,
45 yet.
it's the number one deal of the year. Nothing is up more than silver.
So does that mean so does that mean you're gonna go buy some?
No, no, this is the time to sell. Now, apparently there's a problem with inventory and of course it's being used.
Whoa. Okay. Here we go. Sorry. Go back to Tesla. Go look at Tesla again.
Oh, what happened? Oh, it's 5 o'clock, so I need to go this other way. I need to go to Robinhood. Here we
It's
go.
8:06 Eastern for all those who are in the right time zone.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
that's why you're behind. You weren't on Robinhood.
I'm not on Robinhood.
For
No.
those of you guys,
Oh, look at
if
that.
you want to see any, if you want to see any aftermarket real time all through the night, just download Robinhood. It's free, and you can just make a watch list and watch everything.
I'm on Robinhood all night. Are you kidding me? I'm gonna
Yeah,
wait
yeah.
till I
I
didn't
just
go
think
on
that.
until 5 o'clock. Well, that's not true.
Yeah.
I'm actually
Yeah,
on it all day too.
honestly, if I'm a degenerate. If I wake up to like get a sip of water or use the restroom, I look at like what's going on. You know what's the nice thing too is that it's like a black screen, so it's
Yeah,
not like it's really bright in your eyes. So
it's
yeah,
true. It's true. That
but
is
so
true.
you guys know, Tesla is up about 0.6%, about two and a half to
Right.
$2.6.
Right.
So I don't know if something just happened or if the market is just now seeing what Elon
It's
said,
like this.
but yeah, it is.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see what happens over the night. Okay, so let's go back to so silver anyway. Apparently, this is partially due to lack of inventory, lack of even a place to get the inventory, and lots of use cases for electronics. Copper is in the same boat. Copper, though, has pulled back a little. Let's see if it's still. I got to find it again. Here we go. Copper, no, copper's back up again tonight, but still, 533 is pretty much down from the 550 that it was just a couple of days ago. But it's
Oh,
probably going to stay in the fives. It's looking like.
I see what happened.
Oh,
Trump just came out saying changes are coming to the Fed.
change is coming to the Fed.
Yep.
When? Does he say when?
I think maybe tomorrow. Maybe he's going to announce something tomorrow.
Oh my gosh, that'd be crazy.
Yeah.
All right. The dollar is mixed as it is almost every day, but a little bit up because the job gains. Do you saw that today? All three reports on jobs today were strong.
Were they? No,
Jolts,
I was
Jolts,
moving around a lot today, so I was out.
Jolts was flat.
Oh, that's good.
Quits were down a little. I mean, quits were
Yeah,
down.
I don't think anyone's quitting these days.
No, nobody's quitting. That's what they said. But and layoffs were about the same. And the biggest thing is the amount of time to get a new job. That's continuing to be the problematic part. The National Federation of Independent Business People said the number one problem they have is finding skilled employees to handle
Yeah.
the jobs, and that they are looking for people, that they're increasing the number of people that they need. And that was the third one. Oh,
Mhm.
I know the ADP number came out today, the thing they've been doing every week, that new thing they're doing. And
Yeah.
it was, instead of being negative, it was positive. So,
Okay. That's yeah. So let me I hesitate to say this, but especially going into the first quarter of 2026.
yeah.
But I kind of have a suspicion that we're going to start seeing job growth, that you're going to start seeing positive job numbers. Um, yeah, I kind of feel like this we kind of hit a low and we're about to accelerate again. And why I don't know. I don't really have an opinion on why. It just seems like that's the trend that's happening. Just what I hear on earnings calls, what I hear people, it's just, you get a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there, and you all of a sudden you're like, man, I kind of feel like it's not as bad as it is. Like it's hard, I think, very clearly to hire people or find good talent, like you're mentioning, and it's hard for a lot of younger people to get placement. But I do feel like we're kind of lowing out, bottoming out, and about to accelerate. So we'll see what happens there. But I'm happy it's towards the end of this video for me saying that. So maybe people won't remember I said that, but
Well,
that I would say that's one of my more out there thoughts.
well, okay, but one thing that you might take into consideration is just what you said a minute ago, applying to the people that have now been out of work for, either they haven't gotten a job out of college or they've now been out of work for 3 months or 4 months and they're getting a little frustrated. Maybe some of those people decide they need to become electricians and plumbers, and if they do, those are where the jobs are.
Mm,
And that could be a stimulation right there if those people go out and get those jobs.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, could be.
All right. Let's see. Final thing is cryptos up tonight, actually, for a change. 92, 214. So not too bad. This is the first time it's been well above 90 in a while. And Ethereum is up even more. This would give Tom Lee a chance to be wrong on Bitcoin and right on Ethereum. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, you guys know I'm not.
Yes, I know.
I have nothing against crypto, but it's not my thing.
Yeah.
But it is. It is. It is a signal worth watching,
Yeah,
and I think that projects well for tomorrow.
yeah.
So we'll see. Tomorrow's going to be
Crazy day.
no, not financial advice ever, but I would just say chill out tomorrow. Just enjoy the show
Right,
because
right.
it's not a day to be doing any kind of don't get cute tomorrow because the market is probably going to do some weird things tomorrow.
Yes, very, very likely, especially
Yeah,
around 11 o'clock California time, 2 o'clock Eastern.
definitely.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
All
and
right.
you never know all day. Like if Trump comes out and announces something in the morning, like you
Yeah,
don't
of
know. Like
course.
you have
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's
Yeah. Get
tomorrow's gonna be weird.
All right. That's all I've got. Do you have any parting words? I mean, you've been giving us so much wisdom already, but you might have one last gasp here.
No, just as we get up to the holidays here, I know a lot of you are probably like me, and you are always working on some type of project or another. But I would say make sure you take the time with your families and enjoy it, and make sure that you just enjoy the here and now, enjoy the moment because it
That's
doesn't
good.
last.
That's good. Yeah. Okay. Enjoying the moment is really good advice all the time. That's all I've got. Thanks to Nicholas Gibbs, as always, for coming on Tuesday night and helping us understand way more about markets and maybe even life. And this is, thanks, Nick. And to all of you out there, it's been great talking to you.